Heads up, everybody. This is the Long Bomb here with HeadlessGoose. We're going to be doing our around mid-season podcast here using a format that Goose made.
Yep.
You want to go right into standings then?
Alright, sure. So currently we are in week 6, but there's one game that hasn't been played yet as of recording this, so almost week 7 at this point. So let's take a look at the beautiful standings, starting with the Ravens at 6-0. Well,
yeah, I mean, I expected them to be good, but they're doing way better than I thought they were going to be, especially beating Tomac right out the gate.
Yeah, he's always been a great user. Ravens are a good team. Well, he makes them good.
Yeah.
But they're a pretty good team. There's a reason why he's 6-0.
Sorry.
Yeah, you do the next one.
Next in the AFC North, we got the Bengals at 3-3. They've been on a downhill slide. I think they started off 3-0 or 3-1 or something like that. Their offense just has seemed like fall apart. Joe Mixon is really the only thing there keeping that offense going. They might actually be leapfrogged by the Browns if they do win that game. So.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting division. You have the Ravens up top by so much, and then the Bengals, Browns, and Steelers just all kind of muddled in there. The Browns, I hope they do better. I hate to see anybody with a bad record because it reminds me of how sucky I am.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, sometimes when you have to look at it, it's like you know, there are certain streaks that people get on. Sometimes you get cold, sometimes you get hot. Sometimes it's easy to bounce back in this league. You just have to work on it. It might take a year, but you can bounce back. I'm sure the Browns are capable of bouncing back.
Well, yeah, they started off 2-0 too, and I thought they were going to be really good. I'm just like, oh, this is going to be a turnaround. And then we got the Steelers at 2-4 that seem to be hot and cold every week. No, like in between. They're either blowing out teams or they're getting blown out. I don't know what AU Runner's doing there, but he's doing something. I don't know if I like it yet or not.
Consistency at this league is hard to achieve, and for the Steelers, that's so.
Unless you're the Cowboys, you're either consistently good or consistently bad.
Yeah. Moving on to the AFC South, we have the Houston Texans at 4-2. They are on top of the division right now with the Jags actually behind them by a little bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if this. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this division did come down to the last week. I think the Texans play the Titans. They might actually play the Jaguars, though, which could be interesting to see a winner-take-all game between them. I am actually third in this division behind the Jags. As you said, the Jags doing pretty well. They're actually doing better than I expected with that user there. I'm 1-5 here. I don't actually have a win. I got a sim win, but I'll take it. I'm above the Titans. That's all that matters.
Truthfully, I haven't been paying attention much to the AFC South as an NFC team. I don't really look at how bad the AFC conference is in general. So I don't really know much about how the Titans are 0-6.
Yeah.
But that's the problem. It's a problem if you are actually in second. I mean, if you're actually above them, that's
Yeah, I mean, the Titans user is the UPS boy. He actually did really well for himself in Tampa and Madden 18, but he's just never really had a defense to go along with his offense, and that's really hurting him this year. He lost 45-35 against the Ravens, actually, this week, which is definitely showing the weakness on defense. I just don't think that he can keep up with his defense. Moving on to the AFC East. I've always wondered why these aren't in alphabetical order, but we have the Dolphins at 6-0. Probably the most unrealistic thing in this league is that the Dolphins are good, but they've got a good user behind them. I can't argue with that. He is actually in front of Tomac right now, so he's probably going to try and stay in front of him as long as he can.
Yeah, Dolphins have been on a tear recently. They were a good team, good user. Well, terrible team, good user. But sometimes bad users, like we'll see later on, good users later on, we can actually turn a bad team into a good team, like the Buffalo Bills and Hawking regime. The Bills arguably are one of the worst teams in the NFL right now. IRL, I mean. Josh Allen isn't the most accurate quarterback, but Hawking knows how to use them. He's been using them well. But Sean McCoy, there are pieces in Buffalo that could be used if you're a good user. It's the reason why Hawkins doing so well, despite his season starting off with a loss and everybody panicking, and then, well, the ship has been righted. Everybody knows.
Yeah, I feel like
and Hawking can beat Packers and a commish any day of the week. That's what happened earlier in the season. There's nobody can stop him, I think, at this point. He's figured out how to use Josh Allen.
Yeah, he turned Josh Allen into a stud, 17 touchdowns to 3 picks, and actually he was on a streak there where he kept throwing a pick a week, but that's gone. But he just totaled Kamish, and that actually kind of really surprised me. I think that issues was the offense, and if you saw the Discord after week 1, everyone, like you said, was freaking out, saying like if you want to beat Hawking, this is your chance. But I think that window closed very rapidly. The Jets and Patriots are tied for third place at 2-2, or 3-3. I read the win streak and home record. Okay, that doesn't matter. They're both 3-3. But they're both good users there. This is actually a tough division. I don't think you can call any of these users bad. Especially the Patriots. They started off on the wrong foot, but they beat me to go 2-3, and then they won again. Surprisingly, I actually picked them to win that as an upset. So I think he's got it figured out. I just think that he needed to get how to use Brady. Definitely a different quarterback than Stafford. And the Jets, they're rocking with McCown right now. They torched my defense. I don't think he needs Sam Darnold to be successful is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, he was a good user with his old team. I think Cardinals, he would always end the playoffs with that team or close to the playoffs for the Cardinals. So it doesn't surprise me that he was able to take a mediocre team like the Jets and make them 3-3 right now. I think that record's actually going to improve greatly over time. I think there's going to be a huge competition in the AFC East. I would have to say at the end of the year, the AFC East might be one of the better divisions out there.
Yeah, between that and the NFC West, I think the only thing that's going to make some of those users have a losing record by the end of the year is just the division that they're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on to the AFC West, this is an interesting division. The leaders in this division seem to influx between 500 and below 500, and it's interesting because I honestly don't know who's going to win this. The Chargers are a good user, but he dropped 3 right away, and it was just kind of surprising. It shows that he's definitely beatable. And then you got Tomac and Jordan MCP. I think he's new. He took over from preseason. But the Chiefs are 2-4, but I don't let that deceive me. They are actually pretty good. They keep up really well. And then the Raiders at 1-5. I think the Raiders are about one quarter away from competing. If you look at all their games, they're all close, and I just think that they need that X factor, and they could be a competitor in the AFC West. If you want to go more in depth into that, because I kind of skimmed over them, you can.
I mean, if the Raiders want to get more competitive at the end of the game, trading Khalil Mack away is going to help. But, you know, that's what he wants to do potentially. But I think this division's pretty mediocre. You know, you have teams that are, that might have good users, but at the same time, though, it's hard to tell who's going to come out on top. Maybe Chiefs might turn it around, but as it stands right now, it just everybody's kind of in that mediocre range.
Yeah, back to the Raiders trying to trade Khalil Mack. I don't think trading him away will help, but at the same time, he's barely on the brink of competing, and I think he's probably going to end up with a low draft pick kind of because of that. So he could probably trade away Mack for more capital and just build that team from the ground up. On to the NFC. That franchise guy, the commissioner of the league, is 5-1 on top of that division. 2 wins spread out throughout the rest of the division. The Lions and the Vikings do not look good at all. Kirk Cousins over there is 0 touchdowns to 20 interceptions, so I don't really know what to say there. And the Lions just have been unimpressive, lethargic on both offense and defense, unlike most of the bottom feeders in the league that tend to be strong at one or the other. And you look at it and it's like all they need to do is fix that one thing on offense or defense and they'll be good. I just don't see much from the Lions. I think he can turn it around, though.
Yeah, I don't really know about that. It's like the Lions aren't really that good of a team in the first place, or at least I don't think so. And if you start out 0-5, it's kind of hard to recover from that. The Vikings, I don't think there's any way he can turn his luck around anytime soon. So I think the only person who might actually give the Packers a little bit of a trouble is Bears. If he could just get more consistent. That's been his team since the start of the league back in Madden 18. He went with them in Madden 19, but he gets smacked a lot by the Packers.
He actually beat Kamish twice in the last year, so he can compete. It's just he needs to be more consistent.
Yeah, and that's hard to do. But Packers, he's a good user. Hawking is like the only user that can actually beat him unless it's a playoff scenario, then anything can happen. But
yeah,
when I played the Packers earlier in the year, I felt my soul drain away from me, and I wanted to drink all the beer I could. He does that to you. So I have no idea how it must have felt like for a giant like him to lose to Hawking. Probably hurt a lot.
When I played him in Madden 18, I thought I was doing well, kept him 13-10 at halftime, and then I turned on the stream to find out he wasn't paying attention, and that kind of just crushed me.
I think Nick Perry and Blake Martinez, I think they're under investigation for performance-enhancing drug use. I don't know if you can confirm that, but I've heard reports.
Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know, I think that entire defense is on steroids. They shut down Nick with Jimmy Garoppolo, and I think that's his second loss ever in this league, and it's just kind of surprising that they just blew him out.
Yeah, that was not a good game to watch at all. I felt bad. I felt bad for the Niners.
Yeah. NFC South, this is another division where it's just completely mediocre. Like the NFC West AFC West would not be surprised if the winner of this division actually was 9-7 or 8-8 because I think the Saints user, Hello Newman, is actually probably the best user in there, but he's struggled at times, so I don't know. The Saints, I have them winning this division at 9-7. Got those two cellar dwellers there, and the Falcons and the Bucks, but I think that either of them can turn their season around real quickly. The Bucks with Admiral Jackbar, blanking on his name. He is proven. He's gone 7-9 several times. I think that he just needs that next step. I don't think that Bucks roster is helping him though. And then the Falcons, they've shown flashes at times. I'd say kind of like me, where they just need to get it together.
Yeah, I remember back when Falcons fought the Giants as we being the Redskins and played quite a few times. That he always had potential to be good. I don't know if he can actually, Madden 19 is a new game. Who knows what's going to happen? The Falcons are a pretty good team to use. So we'll see if he can actually do something at the end of the year. But I played the Saints. I held them for a while. I mean, without any points hardly. Then he just scores a bunch of points on me in the fourth quarter, and I kind of choked that game away. But I think Saints is a good user, and Panthers is actually pretty close to him. I think just like we said, the winner of this division is going to go 8-8 or 9-7. It's not going to be pretty, but somebody's going to win it.
Yeah, I have the Panthers in the same situation as the AFC West, where I think it'll come AFC South, where one will be 9-7 and the other will probably be 8-8. I don't know. The Panthers, I know he's good. I've seen him play. I've played against him, but it just seems like he shoots himself in the foot constantly. Against you, I don't think he even had the lead once against you. You played super well. You played guns out, and I think the Panthers just, I don't see enough consistency in him to win that division.
Yeah. Don't I still remember you thinking I was going to lose that game. Don't think I forgot about that.
Pretty sure I picked him by 1 point.
5.
5 points, same thing. 1 equals 5.
Have it written on the wall. My bulletin board of hatred. Anyway, moving on to NFC East, my division. So I'll take it from here. The Eagles.
Trash.
I mean, can we just skip the Eagles? Let's go to the Giants. Okay, moving on to the Giants. 4-2. He gave the Eagles a good run for his money in the last game that they played against each other, but
yeah, I actually picked him to win that game.
Giants just injuries. You can't really do anything with the Giants if their first round pick is injured.
Yeah, he had Barkley and Eli out at the same time, and I mean, he had Eli back on early return, but I think he had a speed decrease, so his speed is already 60 something. So he just couldn't move around in the pocket, so he resorted to Lauletta, and that just was a dumpster fire from the beginning. I'm impressed with how well he does, especially after that first season back. He just kind of blew me out of the water when he was doing well.
Yeah. He's a good user. He's one of those sneaky good users. At the Giants, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 5 people were fighting for them.
Yeah, so, I couldn't believe that who did he beat out? He beat out Dolphins user.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, Madden 19 is a new game, so
new game, new me.
Things change, but yeah, he's a good user nonetheless. And then somehow I'm actually ranked above the Cowboys, but that's just because he's been struggling recently. But,
yeah, I was gonna say, who's this at number 3?
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm at number 3 too. I don't think that's ever happened where we're both above 4 at the same time.
Yeah, 2 or 3 right now. I don't know how I feel about my future. I think the season's kind of good, but in that game I had against the Packers, I lost Josh Doxson and James and Crowder both to injury. It was like everybody got injured that game, but only those 2 wide receivers actually got injuries for multiple weeks.
Well, yeah, that's like your entire receiving core right there.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm just left with Paul Richardson, Trey Quinn, and Simi Cobbs Jr.
Yeah, Trey Quinn, I saw that. He had like 100 yards and 2 TDs, and I'm just like, wait a minute. Like,
who is this guy?
Mr. Irrelevant. Actually, Trey Quinn is the all-time leading receiving yards leader in like high school in the nation. So,
well, for some reason, when I need to throw it to somebody, he was there that game against the Panthers. He's actually way better than his rating is. He's a 70 overall, but I think he plays more like a 79.
anti-Ryan Grant.
That's why I've been testing the waters with James and Crowder, just because I wasn't able to re-sign him, and he's on his last year. And if Trey Quick can actually step up and fill that role, I could maybe get a draft pick or something out of James and Crowder, but
I might go for Crowder. I mean, I'm still in a gray area with Ryan Grant right now. I mean, he seems to drop as much as he catches, so.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to Cowboys.
2-4 seems like the opposite of what the record should be, but.
Exactly. A great user, one of the better users of the NFC. But rough start, inconsistent, terrible luck. Those are all things to describe the Cowboys situation as of right now. But that might change after he beats me next week.
His problem is the passing game. If you look at Dak's numbers, they're awful. They're just about my Andrew Luck numbers, which I don't want to really go into. But he just doesn't, like, he has Cole Beasley, and that's it. He needs a Des Bryant, or in Madden 18's case, he desperately needs a Christoph Odom, just some big-bodied guy to throw to. He just can't seem to move that ball downfield. Kind of the same problem I have. I just can't seem to go deep.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens in that division. Moving on to the NFC West, if you want to talk about the Niners.
Yeah. First off, I need to say this is probably going to end up being the best division. Like, I did my predictions and projections, and I have the worst team in here as the Cardinals at 9-7, and I have 2 of these teams missing out on the playoffs, which is bizarre. I have like 3 winning record teams missing. So the 49ers are in the carousel to win this conference. Like right now, I don't really know where to start. Good team, good user, young quarterback, but got toasted by Kamish, and I don't know what to think of that. I don't know if it's a fluke or whether it was on Nick or Chubby. Like, I just can't tell. So I'm going to chalk it up to a fluke, but that defensive line is just running rampant right now. I think they lead the league in sacks, but I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on it. I think they have an edge over the other 2 teams because I think that Grimy is a bit new, and I think that he might not withstand Nick and Furry Mule in Seattle. He surprised me by beating Grimy, so I don't know if he'll do that again.
Yeah, this division is a powerhouse. This is a perfect example of why the NFC is always better than the AFC.
Yeah.
Because you have so many teams that are going to have so many good records. It's going to be such a difficult playoff race because people are going to get knocked out for insane reasons or bad unlogic, unfortunately, for some teams.
Well, I mean, these rosters are so good too. Like in real life, the Cardinals last year went 8-8 without a quarterback or a running back. Think what they could do with Rosen, and so then you put someone like Clone Otto there in Arizona, and he's just deadly.
When I played him week 1, he had so many interceptions on me, and I felt like he was actually going to dominate this league. But we'll see if he bounces back. I'm not quite sure what's been the issue for him, but this division is going to be tough. And Seahawks, Furry Mule, back when he was with the Raiders, I believe, I didn't expect him to jump to the Seahawks to be this good. I think I might have overlooked him, just like I did with the Rams, because they're all good. This division is good. It's amazing how good all these users are.
Yeah, well, I mean, I had Furry Mule coming on a bounce back year, but not this well. Like I think he was like, he quietly became a playoff contender and made the playoffs. Like I didn't realize he was actually in the race until he was 8-5, and then he just fell off the map. Went like 1-10 to start the next year, and now he's just like I think he has more interceptions than touchdowns with Russell Wilson, and he's still winning somehow. Like I don't know. It's like his defense is average. Like how they're playing. His running back game is average. His quarterback is average. It's like I don't know how he does it. He just does.
Luck, maybe. Who knows?
Do we cover everyone then?
That's it for the standings right now. Unless there's something else you want to talk about real quick.
No, actually, I think a bit of the podcast actually cut out, so that might be an issue for later. What's next? Games of the week. I think we're done with standings. Let me. Yeah. Okay. Now.
Did you say a bit of the podcast cut out? What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I'll have to look at that later. It's back up now. I think we just lost a minute of it. So if we have to go back through like one section of standings, that might be fine. Hopefully. I don't know if you picked out any games of the week, but I do. From week 7 to 12. I think 2 of these are sleeper games that could actually be really, really good. For week 7, I got to go into league schedule, not team schedule. For week 7, I have the Rams and the 49ers. This is their first of 2 showdowns that could actually be really good. I think one of them is probably going to be high scoring, and the other one's going to be a slugfest. Do you have any for week 7, I guess?
I was thinking about it, but I could not skip over the Rams and 49ers. That's the best matchup this week. Not quite sure who's going to win that one. That's going to be one where there's going to be a lot of eyes on it because 2 great users. You can't ever pass something up like that.
Well, if you ask the Eagles user, he'll say 49ers will win because of the home field advantage.
I thought I told you we weren't supposed to talk about him.
Well, I just did, so.
Great.
By the way, Eagles is 6-0 right now.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Whoops.
Week 8, I have the Rams again in the spotlight facing the Packers. I have the Packers winning this. I don't know. I feel like Grimey's going to be in for a wake-up call for the next 4 weeks. His schedule gets twice as hard, but this is going to be a really good game. The Rams' defense and the Packers' running game, I think, are going to go right at it, and it's either going to be really ugly or it's going to be really entertaining, especially since that franchise guy can just resort to Aaron Rodgers and just will his way to a victory if he wants.
Yeah, that one's going to be. It's going to be all dependent on how Aaron Rodgers is doing that game, because I think the Rams have a good defense, but I think one of the most impossible things to do in this league is to intercept Aaron Rodgers. One of the hardest things to do. So we'll see if he's able to get something going on defense to stop the Packers' offense from being a juggernaut like it always is.
Speaking of interceptions, the Cardinals have 22 team interceptions. Like, I don't know how people throw that many against him, and I'm just like, I have like 5 total takeaways. I have 4 interceptions and a fumble, and I'm just like, why can't people throw 6 picks against me?
Because you don't have Deion Buchanan and Patrick Peterson.
I'm running a top 5 defense right now with scrubs.
We're running a top 5. What?
Yeah.
Really?
If you look statistically, I have one of the better defenses in the league. Especially my red zone and third down defense. Those are really good. I also have the best red zone offense, but I don't really get into the red zone often.
Yeah, well. So, week 8, I actually picked the Patriots to Bills as my game of the week.
I almost picked that.
Yeah. The reason why is because I'm interested in seeing how badly the Patriots are going to lose this game. Because I think it's a foregone conclusion that the Bills are going to win. But I'm curious to see if the Patriots can actually put up a fight against Hawking and how much of a fight will actually happen.
Well, yeah, I'm thinking this is an off year for Jam because he's beaten Kamish too. It's like, I don't know. I feel like beating that franchise guy is one tier, but then like beating Hawking is just another 2 up. It's, I don't know. I have to play him week 7. I'm not exactly excited for that. That could actually be happening very soon. Week 9, I have the Chargers and the Seahawks. I have the Chargers winning this game, and again, I don't, like I said before, I don't know how Seattle does it, but I'm interested to see how they win and how they can it's very steady. I would have to leave it at that. It's not blowing out. It's like pro style offense. It's like watching Wisconsin versus Iowa in college football. It's just boring, but it Chiefs 2016 offense. That's all I have to say.
So I had a tie here for the game of the week of week 9. My first one, was Titans and Cowboys, and the reason why I chose that is because it's a battle of the struggling teams.
Yes.
Struggling leaders. Somebody's got to win. I'm curious to see how that game's going to go.
Well, yeah, I mean they're perennial. They're supposed to be perennial playoff contenders, and these two are supposed to be just beating their division by a ton, and they're both struggling. Like, I don't know what happened with UPS boy. Like I said before, it seems like his offense just dropped off, and it doesn't seem to be that different than the one he had in Tampa Bay. So I'm going to chalk it up to your explanation of new game.
Yeah, the second one, I did really want to choose this one, but every time I played this year's or the Atlanta Falcons series, or we always have close games or interesting games that go down to the fourth quarter.
Yes.
I think Falcons and Redskins is going to be a game of the week to watch.
I almost picked that one as a sleeper. Like, you know how in Madden 18 I did an unsung game of the week because they were probably two teams that would probably make a really good game, but they're not exactly the greatest. That's kind of where I have this one.
Yeah, it's one of the games where you turn on the TV and just look through the channels that the football game's going on, you see this one, you're like, oh, wait a second.
How are these teams only 3 points apart?
Yeah, it's like, what happened in this game? Like, well, it's going to be a good game, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and check in to watch that one. Week 10, I got Cardinals at Kansas City. Two teams that I think are probably going to finish low in their division despite being good users. Jordan MC Peak in Kansas City just has a heck of an offense. I don't really want to play that. And Arizona just seems to be good everywhere. And I think that defense, top 5 defense versus top 5 offense, just could be really, really entertaining. I think Patriots Titans could be good too, but I had to take this one over that one.
I think there were 2 games here, Seahawks and Rams. That one I'm really interested in knowing what's going to happen.
Yes, I have the Seahawks, I think, winning this one actually.
It's tough for me. I have no idea who's actually going to win this one, which kind of a boring answer, but I don't. It's 2 good users. I'm not quite sure what's going to be the result of that. But sneaky one here, I think. A possible upset alert is Dolphins and Packers. I have the Dolphins winning this one.
I have the Packers winning this one, but I would not be shocked if the Dolphins won this one. That AFC East, I actually think that AFC East could have a 15-1 Bills and a 14-2 Dolphins.
Yeah, that's going to look weird, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Actually, I think I have the Dolphins finishing at 13-3, getting the 5 seed. It's the way I predicted this season to end. It's just kind of like when you look at the I don't know if you watched or remembered this year, but 2011 with the Saints, they went 13-3 and got the 3 seed. I think we could see a similar situation to that in both conferences.
Yeah, what happens when there are good users? They knock each other out of playoff seeding.
Yeah, I find it really fun to watch these really good users get into the playoffs on miracles and get knocked out of the playoffs on grudges and miss opportunities. Like in Madden 18, that NFC wild card, like 6th spot, there seemed to be 4 teams vying for that. Like week 17 each year, it was actually really fun to try and predict that and come up with the scenarios. For week 11, I have Green Bay, Seattle. I think this is their 2nd time each making my game of the week list, but with good reason. I actually have Seattle winning this game. I think Kamish is going to have a run for his money here.
Yeah. I think Raiders and Cardinals might actually be interesting. I was trying to think of a good way to start that off with, but this one I'm interested in just because I'm interested in seeing how the Cardinals will do at this point. This far ahead. I'm interested in if Cardinals has been able to turn his luck around at this point. I'm curious if Raiders has done anything by this point.
I think this is a game that could be big for whoever streams it, mainly because, again, Raiders competes for 3 quarters. There could be a lot of people watching this stream, like my game against the Jets last night. Actually, I think there was 8 people on watching that at one time, I think is what I saw. All because I was actually keeping up with him. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then there's you who can actually win games.
Well, Sure. Let's go with that.
I was also playing a neutered Jets team. I mean, they had no Leonard Williams. I think both of their edge rushers, their linebacker, and their quarterback were out.
You still lost. I know.
Shame, darn shame. Week 12, I have Giants and Eagles. Their first meeting came down to, I think, the final drive. I didn't actually watch the final bit of it, but I don't know. I picked Giants to win that first game. Now that they lost, I'm gonna have to pick them again. Not biased towards Eagles. If he actually does watch this, not biased. I just want to see a really good game, and I think that the Giants have a good chance at winning.
Yeah, that's my game of the week.
Great minds think alike.
Uh-huh.
You make that seem like an insult.
Maybe. Anyway.
Well, my confidence just got shattered.
Yep.
Moving on. We have a power ranking segment here, but I don't exactly know what to do with that.
I mean, well, this was supposed to be your plug to do your power rankings, but I guess not. Anyway, we could just move on then.
Next up is questions. Do we have any questions?
Yeah, that's a negative. Nobody cares about this podcast.
Yeah, thanks everyone in the Discord.
Jerks.
Kind of asked you 3 times.
Especially you, Eagles, you jerk.
No hard feelings.
No, all the hard
feelings. News or like around the Discord, I guess, is up next, and from 6 weeks we have a lot to talk about.
You want to talk about the unfortunate events at Santa Clara?
Yeah. I've seen some pretty wacky things, and I've just seen more here. So, the 49ers meant to cut a defensive tackle, I think to the practice squad, but they cut Sheldon Day by accident, and I think it cost them like $2.5 million in cap penalty. So they had to re-sign him on a free agent deal, and he can't pick him up at the end of the year. So we saw the 49ers sign the wrong player, right? The very next week, so preseason week 4, they cut the wrong player too. And I don't know how that happens. Like, I don't even remember who they signed the wrong player by accident. So they signed the wrong player by accident. So, I mean, way to give some free agent some false hopes and then call him later and be like, oh no, we didn't mean you.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was a very interesting series of events. Followed up the 2 weeks later, trying to make a trade with the Bucks, and he submits the trade wrong. So we had to wait like another 2 weeks to get that trade to go through. And it's actually kind of backfired on me too. So I have something else for you up next that I don't think you're going to really like this. Definitely said it in the Discord. I think I actually tweeted it out too. Alex Smith threw 6 picks in the opener. And he had 5 in 2017.
Ass.
I'm sorry, but I just found that hilarious when I saw that he had more picks in one game.
Good for you. I'm glad I was able to make you laugh. Back to your network over here.
Yeah, let's not bring up Andrew Luck.
Oh, you don't want to bring up Andrew Luck.
No.
You don't want to talk about the game where you intentionally disconnected after the second quarter of our game? No.
Which game? No, what? I didn't. No, stop accusing me.
it was weird how perfect that timing was. I kicked your ass in 2 quarters, and all of a sudden you just poofed. You got kicked off the EA servers.
Yeah, I actually did get kicked off the EA servers, and it was kind of weird. Like, it was perfectly daylight out. Like, I was trying to play Jets yesterday, or not Jets. Who was it? 2 games, Patriots, and like we had like 4 straight games where we would like desync, and granted it was heavy storming and hailing out, but the same thing happened with me against the Falcons, where I just randomly disconnected, and he actually tried to go to LO and say that I disconnected on purpose. And I'm just like, what the heck? No, I was actually in that contest too. It was like 6-0. Kind of made me mad.
That's unfortunate, but it's even more unfortunate is that game ended 14-11, even though that wasn't nearly what the score should have been. But
yeah, so how do those stats transfer over since we only played a half?
It just literally transferred the stats for the half. That's it. So no points were scored, no stats were made in the 3rd or 4th quarter.
Huh.
So
I don't even remember what the original score was. You want to know what else is unfortunate is that Dallas actually traded for Paxton Lynch.
and that Paxton Lynch just actually looked good in relief for Dak Prescott at one point.
But that's because it's heavily needed. I mean, Prescott not playing well. Like, he's kind of in a carousel right now. It's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah, I've always liked him as a person, even though he's the Cowboys. I have to play him twice a season.
Yeah.
But he must have pissed off some of the Madden gods or something, because
Yeah.
I have no idea what happened to him. But
sacrifice. He's not like the old Falcons guy. The old Falcons guy was a kind of a douche.
So, any other news? I can't.
Well, I mean, there's some major trades that we can go over with major trades. I don't know where I was going with that sentence.
I don't know where you're going either. I was trying to figure out a way to bail you out from that situation, but I'm like,
Yeah, I understand what you mean by bad English now.
Yeah.
The Jags actually traded for Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think he's actually even played yet either. Sent Fowler and a 5th for Bridgewater and a 3rd. That kind of backfired on the Jets.
Like, on the Jags part, because I think Blake Bortles is decent enough in Madden that you can get away with using him. So I don't know why that needed to happen, but
I think Blake Bortles is fine in real life. Definitely not perfect. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I was going to say that you call Blake Bortles fine. That's insane, but if you're not, I mean, their overall ratings are pretty much the same here. Blake Bortles is actually better rated than Teddy Bridgewater. So
yeah,
I wouldn't have made that trade, but that's that doesn't really matter. So
yeah. And then the I almost said Bears. Other orange team, Broncos, sent Emmanuel Sanders and Shaq Barrett away to the Seahawks and Rams. They actually got good draft capital though, 2 4ths and a 6th. But I'm surprised that he traded both of those away. I knew he was going to trade Shaq Barrett. I was actually trying to get him, but for some reason Jack Barr didn't like it. I still don't understand why that was vetoed. Like, they never gave me a reason. So.
Well, that's unfortunate.
No, wait, the reasoning was because I had 2 second-round draft pick edge rushers. See, that doesn't make sense. I forgot that. But, I mean, neither of them are starter caliber yet. So, I was
Yeah.
thinking I could get Shaq Barrett for a year and then let him out on contract. And then I got Eric Rowe. I desperately needed that in the secondary, or else I was going to be playing with 60 overall guys on the outside with Quincy Wilson inside.
Has that helped you much?
Actually, yeah, it has. Sort of. Kind of. Not really. Yes.
A lot of answers in rapid succession.
What?
That's a lot of answers in rapid succession. So what is it? Is it yes? Is it no? What? Do you feel good
Somewhere
about the trade?
between 1 and 3.
You know, if you trade for somebody, they immediately become one of your highest overall cornerbacks.
He is my highest overall cornerback.
Yeah, that's probably a good trade then. Yeah.
I only sent a 4th for him too, which actually might be a bit much. I could probably get a better corner, but whatever. I needed a corner now, and their free agency isn't helping at all. I mean, you look at that, the best players are all punters and kickers, and it's like, I'm not going to transfer one of them to the secondary.
Yeah, I think. Well, I got Dominic Robinson-Marty in the free agency.
Yeah, I saw that he balled out this week.
And well, I was going to say I got him week 1 of the preseason, but did you just? What the hell did you just say?
Balled out?
I don't think he did.
No, week 6. Didn't he have like 2 picks? Next topic.
Wait. I thought you were supposed. Okay, fine.
I'm not supposed to be smart. Don't say that. Oh, we had another user get kicked as well. We had a Vikings user get kicked. What was he kicked for again? Unrealistic management, something like that?
Yeah, he tried to add 10 practice squad players to his active roster.
Oh my goodness.
Then he cut Terrence Newman before his release request was accepted.
Oh yeah. And he tried to trade Anthony Barr for like a 70 overall corner.
Yeah.
Like, that kind of stained Nick as well, because Nick was in on it. He's like, okay, that's a deal. Like, that's a really good deal. And then he just kind of got bombarded by LO.
Yeah, well, you gotta learn from that.
Oh yeah, and how about the Lions-Packers game with both Stafford and Rodgers getting injured? I looked at that stat line and I saw like Deshaun Kaiser and Matt Castle had like 400 yards combined, and I'm just like, what happened?
Yeah, that was kind of unfortunate, but it didn't really help the Lions much. Unfortunately for him.
I don't have anything else I would like to cover, so if you got anything else, you can say it, I guess.
I was thinking about something that's been bothering me recently with the Discord.
Is this when we get into the Twitch?
Why are there so many people with deep profile pictures on Discord?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that kind of annoys me. Like, sometimes it's like I can't tell between who, like, especially on the wait list.
Yeah, and Rams, listen, why do you have the Browns dog as your profile picture if you're the Rams?
Yeah. Who's the other one? So someone else has done that like the entire time, and I've just forgotten about it.
And Eagles, you talk so damn much into Discord, but yet you haven't changed your profile picture.
You're just going off on Eagles, just taking every shot you can get.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's no secret that Eagles is one of the more annoying users in the league.
I think we can all be annoying at times. Not speaking from um, personal. Well, what's it called?
You're defending him.
No, I'm actually kind of roasting myself and defending him.
Well,
Oh my
I mean,
goodness.
the thing about him, there was a really old Jaguars user. Like, I think the second.
Okoronkwo
No.
before him?
He was. This was a long time ago, but he was always known for upping, spamming the general chat. Just talking on and on, fine with the old commissioner, fine with the league office. And then as soon as he was gone, everybody was glad. And then as soon as the Eagles joined, I had flashbacks, PTSD to back when that old Jags user was in the league.
Which Jags user are we talking about? I thought the one that I saw go away was the original one.
I think his name was Math Rocks or something like that. Matthew Rocks, it's.
Okay, yeah, that's the one. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah, he was annoying. There's a reason why I forgot about his name, because I was doing that to save my sanity. But
yeah,
the older users in this league can tell you about him. It's almost scary how exactly the same they are in terms of what their actions are in the chat.
Yeah, between him, Texans, and Ty Kid, I just called that division the AFC mouth. Like, they would trash talk each other for just like an hour straight. It was really entertaining.
Sorry, you cut off a little bit on me there. That's why I didn't say anything.
I hope this podcast comes out clear because it didn't sound very well with Tomac on it. So I probably got to actually get a mic.
Yeah, no shit. Anyway, moving on. I just want to end this with a little bit of a note. We were trying to get a list compiled together of people who don't have past broadcasts turned on.
Yeah, I think I have that turned on. I'm pretty sure I do.
So I was going to create. We were going to create a list of people to call out. This was a segment that I was actually going to call people out, but.
Well, I love calling people out because I know I can't actually beat them in the game.
Unfortunately, I just didn't have enough time to, and it also doesn't help that it's like the same 10 people post on the NFL Network chat and the other streams I don't even see.
I just prefer to host because I tend to lag less. So I do stream every once in a while.
So do everybody who is nervous or maybe thinking, oh, I don't have past broadcasts turned on, I don't know how to do that, go to general chat, check on pinned messages. It's the only pinned message in the general chat.
Yeah, when you brought this up, it actually surprised me when you said that it didn't seem like LO was, like, League Office wasn't really doing much about it. And I hadn't thought about it up until that point. And I did think about that, and I'm just like, huh. Like, Kamish came out very strict about it, and then it just kind of died off.
Well, I would have blamed League Office, so don't put words in my mouth, Dick.
Okay, that was my perception of it. And constructive criticism. That's what that is. That's good.
The League Office, they're busy. They have their own things to take care of. I was just looking at it because it was annoying me, but yeah, I guess you're not wrong in saying that there needs to be something more done about it because it was kind of forgotten about or just not enforced very well. Yeah, I guess.
I don't have any more announcements or anything else to cover.
When is the next power rankings going to be?
I don't know. I haven't done like the first 6 weeks in posting on TFGO League, so I'm probably just gonna wait out the rest of the year.
Are you actually going to do a video at some point for the power
Yes,
rankings?
I actually will. I mean, I haven't done in the past. I missed 2 weeks, and I was like, okay, It's just gonna be weird for people that only follow on YouTube.
You know, I forgot to tell everybody that I'm the Redskins. You know, people probably figure it out at that point. I mean, at this point, but I just realized that I forgot to mention that at the start. But anyway,
Oh yeah,
I think,
I'm the Colts.
yeah, I think I'm interested in wondering actually what's going to happen with you. Are you going to have a losing record, do you think? Or how badly of a losing record are you going to have this year, you think?
4-12.
4-12, that's what you think?
Yes. What do you think your
What
record
did
is
you-
gonna be?
What did you have me as? You had me as like 6-10 or something like that?
5-11, but I think you could go as high as 8-8.
Yeah, it depends on how consistent I am. Well, that's the end of the podcast. If you want to close it out.
Sure. Actually, this is gonna come in, I think, around an hour, so that's actually good and lengthy. This was a podcast joined by me, TheLongBomb, and HeadlessGoose. The Long Bomb Sports Network is going to be throwing